Fresh round of clashes erupted on Friday in the city of Rochester in New York when hundreds of demonstrators marched to protest against the death of black man Daniel Prude in police custody earlier this year. Anti-racism protests have continued to erupt in New York's Rochester since last week after Prude's family released a body camera footage from his arrest that depicted police atrocities. Following the release of the footage, the city of Rochester turned into the latest flashpoint of unrest over racism and police brutality. Prude died in March, 7 days after police pressed his head into the ground and handcuffed him after encountering him running naked through the streets. Now, New York's Attorney General has moved to form a grand jury to investigate the death of Daniel Prude. The announcement comes as the city continues to witness protests for 4 consecutive nights in a row. Meanwhile, another heartland of anti-racism protests in the United States, Portland, has marked its 100th day of demonstrations. Every night for the past 100 days, BLM supporters have gathered in a park in Portland to prepare for demonstrations outside police stations and courthouses. The Oregon city has witnessed some of its violent clashes in the past 1 week. A man was shot dead during clashes between pro-Trump groups and BLM protesters during demonstrations. The police detained at least 27 people on Friday and declared an unlawful assembly after a few of the protesters threw rocks at the officers.
This is 100 days of us trying to take up space and being able to use our voices in a way that most of us haven't before. And I think in that way, for us, building this community and hanging out with these people every single day for 100 days, it's like building community in a way that I never really would have ever expected to see in my lifetime.
Another U.S. city of Louisville in Kentucky was also tense on Saturday as riot police flooded the streets to keep rallies of opposing armed protesters, some in favor of the Black Lives Matter movement and some against it, separate from one another. Anti-racism protesters, including about 200 armed members from a black militia group called NFAC, marched to the Churchill Downs track on Saturday demanding cancellation of the historic Kentucky Derby horse race in Louisville. Louisville has emerged as one of the latest epicenters of anti-racism protests in the United States. Protests started to erupt following the death of Breonna Taylor, a black 26-year-old woman who was killed when the city's police burst into her apartment with a no-knock arrest warrant in March.